Hello, my lovelies. I'm back. And I have a bunch of stuff I want to talk to you about. Oh, man. The stuff's on my phone. Well, maybe it's on my laptop. Yeah, I should be able to access it. Maybe not. Let's see. Only because I have the phone on airplane mode. Vamos a ver. So, I'm eating the Domino's pizza chocolate chip cookie brownie. And this thing is like so addictive. I swear they have MSG or something in here because it is just so ridiculously addictive. Like, so ridiculously addictive. It's ridiculous how addictive it is. Like, you eat one and you're like, no, I'm fine. I like to have like one square of the black cup of coffee because this is so sweet that it complements the coffee, because I don't like coffee, but I have to put like a ton of sugar and milk in it to even make it palatable. But with this, I could just go, all right, take a sip of coffee, and it balances everything out. I'm gonna put this down as I drink another murderous thing, Coke with Pepsi. It's gross because it was warm, but I wanted to finish it because I don't like wasting anything. I have a cold glass here. All right, let's get to it. So I have had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people, and I wanted to share them with you because I haven't been on here for a while. And you know how I do. I like to share with you different things that we've been discussing. I don't really want to talk about the riots because it's self-explanatory, but you know, if there had been Black people, Muslims, or people of any minority, Hispanics, Asians, they would not have allowed us into the White House, let alone near the White House. So it's interesting how these people got near it, even if they were pushing the barricades in, and how they got into it, and how there were so minimal, like so very few arrests, where like if it had been any other group of minorities, even women, if it had been a women's protest, more women would have gone to jail than the Caucasian people that were there. Let's just be real. So something's really wrong with this country. We already know something's wrong with the presidency, but we don't have to endure that any longer. I hope karma really comes in and takes care of that. I just don't understand why poor people support this president, because he doesn't do anything for them. He spends more money on Secret Service and staying at Mar-a-Lago and his golf trips than he actually does on some of these government projects for people. Like, they'll pull funding for people so that he can have his excess. It's just ridiculous. I just think it's stupid. People don't even realize, and it's all public. You know, you can access it publicly. It's just amazing how silly the American people can be. And then some of the things that I definitely wanted to talk to you guys about were it was just a really cool quote that somebody said. They were talking about me and just a group of us, you know. And she was like, no, this person didn't expect you to succeed. Like, this person gave you the string and the rope so that you can hang yourself. And instead, you made a blanket and a hammock, and then you laid in it, and then you made a pillow. I was dying. I was like, yes, that is what happened, and that is how I am. But it was hysterical because she's like, no, they had the worst intentions for you, and you ended up coming out on top. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much my life story. So that was really funny. I wanted to talk to people also about relationships. Aww. Okay. Basically, it's about lying and deceiving your partner, right? And a lot of people will omit. They're like, that's not a lie. I just didn't tell you everything. That's deception. That's a lie. In another form. No, it's not. Like, and they're so technical. Like, I remember I was arguing with this guy and I was like, you said you weren't going to communicate with this specific woman any longer. He said, no, I said I wouldn't contact her. I did not contact her. She contacted me. Okay. And then I actually showed him the text message where it said communicate. And he's like, and he fought me for like 4 days about that. You're getting mad at me for something I didn't do. She contacted me. I'm like, yeah, but you chose to communicate with her. You could have just cut it off and been like, look, I told you I need space. I'm trying to work things out. You know, with Myra, why are you continuing to get on my case? He fought me, and then I showed him the text message, and he was like, oh, my bad. It was communicate, not contact. They're two very different things. I apologize. We did not need to fight for 4 days. They're very similar. You should have figured it out. Even if I said contact, which I didn't, I said communicate because I'm a very clear communicator. If you cared at all about this relationship, you would have cut it off whenever that girl contacted you, like, hey, what is your problem? But he desired the attention, and he liked the attention more than making things work between me and him. And every time that I broke up with him, he came running back trying to make it better. Like, why do you let it get to that point? For all the men that have a woman out there, don't let it get to the point where the girl is ready to walk away, because at some point, even if she takes you back, there will be one day that she will not. And when that day comes, you're going to sit there and you're going to think about everything she asked you to do. And you're going to realize how simple it was, the things that she asked you to do, and how you chose not to because you had a mommy complex and you didn't want anyone to tell you what to do anymore. You're tired of people telling you what to do. So when you finally meet the woman that is perfect for you, you, instead of loving her, embracing her, and working together as a team to fight all of these negative energies that are going to come in and try to fuck up your relationship, you fight the woman that you're supposed to be loving and protecting. And all she's trying to do is get you to stop talking to other women that are your exes that don't have pure intentions with you. They're trying to mess up what you and I have, because what you and I have is so freaking beautiful that now they want it. But they can't have it because they're not me, and they don't bring out in you what I bring out in you. So women need to realize that. And I realized that at an early age. I see men, I never want another woman's man. I only wanted one other woman's man once. And that's because they were separated. It was my high school sweetheart. We had a lot of love for each other. It was literally like, he even just came back recently again after 10 years because that love is so deep and embedded that like we should have been together, but he just makes stupid choices and picks these women that he shouldn't. And then he's too meek and weak to leave the relationship because he doesn't like hurting people. But deep down inside, he's always loved me the whole time that he's been with all these women. You know, like, so I was with that guy when he was in separation from his first wife. Now he's on the second. Then he came back and told me he wanted to be with me, but not marry me. I was like, no, you're not going to deny me what you've given everybody else. Sorry. Rejected that offer because I'm worth so much more than that. This guy, you know, we were trying to make it work, but he's like not being a partner. Like, he's a good partner, don't get me wrong, but not like committed to us. Like, his exes are so important to him. That's a problem. I'm not putting up with that. No exes in my life. You want to bring back, like, I cleared my whole life. I am a fresh start. I was single for 5.5 years. I did all the work. I cleaned my aura. I cleaned my karma. I cleaned everything. I was ready for love and affection. And then he comes with a truckload of baggage, like, hey, let's get married, have kids, and have a baby. And not knowing, I didn't see the truck behind him. I was like, oh, wow, this is my reward for being so good. God gives with one hand and then laughs with the other. Because he put me through the ringer with this shit. And I'm like over it. I'm so beyond done. It's not even funny. Like, I'm trying my last breath to make this work, but he doesn't want to do the work to deal with his past and why he's connected to these women and why he won't let go. Like, why won't men let go of their past to start a new future with somebody that could be so much better than clearly what the past was, because the past is over. It didn't work, right? So that past is over. It's done, right? You know it doesn't work. So why on earth are you still communicating with these women? Like, yeah, they're comfortable because you know them, but now you found something so much better. You could have a fantastic, beautiful life, and you choose to still be connected. Like, you got to break those karmic ties. Like, you need to do the work within, and you need to meet and talk to these people, get your closure if that's what you need to do, and then keep it moving. But don't bring all of that junk into the next relationship, because you're going to miss out on something amazing. So I'm probably moving to Florida, to be quite honest with you, and starting a new life, because this is some bullshit. So what I wrote is, somebody was telling me about, like, you know, listen to my playlist. This is what I listen to whenever I break up with a guy. And I wrote back, thanks, girl, but I can't revel in those feelings. I got to look at the relationship for what it was, get out of the fantasy mode, which is what I believed it could have been, but it never was. Clarify what I want in the next relationship, and then release all of that anger and pain. Because I'm not bringing any of this into the next one. And I never do. I'm like, so like, I don't even remember what happened last time. What's your name? No. What's your name? How you doing? What you do? You want to hang out? Let's go grab a movie. And so I just wanted to mention stuff like that. I still love that they gave you a string to make a rope to hang yourself. And instead you made a blanket, a hammock. You laid down in it. And then you made a pillow. I was dying. He's like, they did not expect that. I was like, no, they didn't. And it wasn't about that relationship. It was just about something else when it had to do with like life, you know? And then it said, oh, so this is what I wanted to tell people, like in general, dudes, girls, to all my players out there. To all my players out there, you know who you are. Guys who cannot, you know, and women who cannot stay with one person. They like to play around. They like to feel different people and fuck around. And if one day you find somebody you decide to be with, but you think you can get away with keeping your people on the side because you think that that's what people do, no. There's a lot of people that don't put up with that. So you need to know who you're getting involved with. If you're getting involved with someone who does not put up with that, don't even bother. There's a lot of women out there and a lot of men out there who are okay with you having a side piece because they got one too. And they're fine with it. They're like, I got mine, you got yours, we got each other, we straight. Find those people, right? So I said, I'm writing a book, so I'm giving you excerpts of the book, you guys. Not really, but like this is like the raw footage. I'm gonna fix it. When you're ready, you need to pick a woman and put her above all other women. All the other women were as equally as important as I was. That's the problem. I chose and I picked you above all other men, and you did not do the same for me. We are not on the same page. That is how most women feel when they dedicate to you and they commit to you, and then you go off and get a side piece. Just because your boys got side pieces, just because your friends had side pieces, your dad may have even had a side piece. No disrespect in case your dad's a good guy. But it doesn't mean that you need to have a side piece. Every relationship dynamic is different, and every woman stands in her power and knows her worth. So if you're going to try and break her down to be okay with you living this way, you are so fucking dumb. I'm sorry. No, it's not going to happen. No, a woman who knows her worth and knows her power is not going to put up with your bullshit way of life. No, it's not gonna happen. Nah, dude, no. Nah, sweetie, no, homegirl. You have problems, you have issues, you haven't dealt with them. This person is here and you're here, and like they were okay with working with you because they were like, I could bring them up here. I will work with that. But you were like, nah, I'm staying right here, and you changed yourself to the chair that you were sitting in. And this person's like, you could stay in your fucking chair. I'm traveling the world and I'm living my life and I'm doing whatever I gotta do because that's why I'm here. So you keep doing what you're doing, boo. You enjoy yourself and your little carnal pleasures. And when you're old and gray and you're missing something, I'll tell you what you're missing. It's called intimacy. The connection between two people, knowing that your life was worth something because you connected with people on a deeper level. And it wasn't that superficial level that like booty calls and like, yeah, some of these things could have been deep, but then they die off. It's that I got my partner, they're my ride or die, we have each other's back, like, forever. I met somebody that could be there for me. And, you know, there's a lot of people that don't want that. There's a lot of people that want to be single. There's a lot of people that do not want to share, their life with another human being. They just want to be free and live life to their... That's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the people that actually want a life partner. Like, they really do. Wow, that was really deep. They want someone to share their life with. They want someone to laugh with. They don't want to die alone. They want a partner. But then they go about and they self-sabotage the connection that God brought into their lives. And one thing I've noticed, and it's mostly in movies, but I see a lot with my friends that, like, people will always go back and just to see how the person is doing, to their first love or the first person that touched their heart. And I always wonder, like, if you didn't break up with that person and you just made it work from day one and you fought for that connection, how different your life would be. That you didn't have to get your heart broken so many times and you didn't have to go through all of these things. And people are like, but that's what makes you stronger and you're a better person for it. I'm like, yeah, but what if you didn't have to go through all that pain? You would have gone through pain, because trust me, being with one person for quite a long period of time will always cause you pain. You guys are very different. You come from different backgrounds. But imagine growing with one person. But then I see couples that were like that, and then they end up getting divorced because they grew apart. You know, so there's that double-edged sword, no matter how you look at it. But I just wonder, like, what if we all just made the effort to make it work with the first person that we ever loved? Now, clearly, if that person is like psychologically or physically abusive or has an addiction, that's different. It's a little, I don't condone that, because then you're just putting a torture sentence on yourself, you know. But if they're of sound mind, they have some type of ambition, they're good at something, they're a provider, you know, like, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not going to go into all this stuff. So if you have anything negative to say, like, don't watch my channel, just get off. I have nothing to say to you. Go away. Like, nobody cares. I'm deleting your comment. If you have anything positive to say, please do. I love to see comments like that. I do a lot of relationship coaching, if you guys have watched any of my other videos. So I'm very aware of these things. Like, I see so many different couples and dynamics, and I just want to help as many people as possible. I was just giving you a little tidbit of what I've gone through recently, because I noticed that with the pandemic, it either brought people closer together that were once, you know, pulled apart because of work and stuff, and now they were able to actually invest in their relationship, and they were like, wow, I missed you, like, I wanted to spend more time with you. And then it drove people apart because they were going crazy being under the roof, you know, under a roof with somebody 24/7, and it just drove them apart. And they realized they didn't like each other, and it only worked because they weren't together. Then there were some people that missed each other so much that they had to come and travel to be with that person, because they realized that's the person I should have been with from the beginning. And then new love was created. There were so many beautiful rooftop weddings that I've seen. So many beautiful people that got together that never would have got together because of the pandemic, and they were just talking and they had time. Like, the pandemic gave us a lot of time to get to know what we wanted to do, who we were, what kind of parents we wanted to be, or you wanted to be, because I don't have children, well, of my own. I've raised other people's kids, and, you know, like, stuff like that. So it's really interesting how there's always like a dichotomy, like a double-edged sword version of everything. How some people, no matter what, can make things beautiful, and other people always turn it into something miserable. I tend to try to stay in the, like, the positivity, like, let's make it work, there's a solution to everything kind of thing, kind of personality or mode. But then there's other people that no matter how positive you are, they cannot see it. No matter how clearly you communicate, no matter what you're telling them needs to get done, they won't do it because they don't want to be told what to do. And that's cool. I totally get it, you know, like, but I just find that people that have a problem, and it's not authority, just with any type of advice, you kind of see where they are in life in general. And it's funny because those people tend to, they either rebel against authority figures or they only listen to authority figures, never their peers, as if that makes any sense. So the people that repel authority figures tend to listen to their peers. People who who listen to authority figures tend to repel their peers because they think that the authority figure is correct. Kind of like all these people that follow Trump. Not the brightest people in the world. I understand if you supported him because you understand that we're supporting a Republican president means that somehow if you are privy and smart, you will know how to make money during this economy, because most rich people make the most money during a Republican presidency. The stock market will always crash during a Republican presidency. So when that market crashes, that's your time to be like, boom, investing all my savings into all these different stocks. Watch it double, triple, quadruple back, you know, once it drops down, it goes back up, and then you make a lot of money, and then the Democrat has to come in to fix what the Republican broke. And that's what's been happening ever since Reagan, because he fucked it up with Reaganomics. So go follow that. And then also because we lost the Panama Canal, which was bringing us, I don't know if it was millions or billions, don't quote me on that, of money, we gave back the Panama Canal to Panama, so we lost that money, so we've been in a deficit ever since. But hey, what the hell do I know? Look it up. So there's a lot of things that cause this, and not to mention, like, this last president increased our deficit more than any other president before because he just loves to spend. And he's like, oh my God, these people are so stupid. I got into the presidency. I'm going to spend. This is what he likes to do. I'm going to live lavishly. My children are going to live lavishly. I got Secret Service. They're going to come with me. I got all my properties. We're going to stay on my properties, you know, so that I make money, even though I'm not supposed to be making money as a president. But hey, you know. And yeah, we learned a lot. You don't like my channel, like I said, get off. I'm not supporting you. You don't need to support me. We're all good. So I really just want to talk to the people who get what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of things that are not just, and it doesn't mean that we deserve or anybody has the right to go ahead and infringe their beliefs on another human being. That's the cool thing about America, and that's what we should have been fighting for, is the fact that everybody has the right to have their own opinion, and they don't impose their lifestyle on another human being, and they don't degrade, even though like you might say that I was doing that on this video, whatever, another person because they don't value the same things. I'm not saying I'm degrading or I'm looking down on anybody because they don't value the same things. This was clearly, anybody with a rational mind, clearly an abuse of power. And people were supporting that, not seeing it. That's what I'm talking about. It's the inability, being willfully blind. It's right in front of your face and you refuse to see it because your personal beliefs and ideology somewhat match with this person, but this person can care less whether or not you have food in your mouth. They can care less whether or not you get approved. They're cutting off all the programs that help you survive or give you the tax breaks that you need or give you the bonuses that you deserve. Like, anyways, I don't want to get too political on this ranting, but I am going to talk about what I want to because it's my channel. It's my channel and I'll talk if I want to. I also have been talking to people about definitely sex, what people are doing with their lives. A lot of people were traveling during this pandemic. And I know that wealthy people tend to do the opposite of what non-wealthy people do. So I get the wealthy people traveling, but these were like broke people. And they were like, no, we went all over the North and East Coast. And I thought that was awesome because that's what I wanted to do. But my partner couldn't because his job, I'm a free spirit and I still make more money than he does. But they couldn't because of their commitment to their job. They literally work 6 days a week. So we didn't really have time to go away for anything more than a day. And it's like, I really wanted to take advantage of the freedom that we had because everything was closed down. Like people were dying to rent their bed and breakfast. You know what I mean? They were completely sterilized because nobody had been there for weeks. You know what I mean? I would have loved to have rented a beachfront property that was probably super cheap, you know, at this time. And I would like to do that now. My friends are like trying to get me to go to Florida with them. And I'm like, yeah, but we're still in the middle of a pandemic. And they're like, bitch, please. Mind you, these people have been traveling all over. Like my one friend went to Hawaii. She's been back to Atlanta, Hawaii, New York, all the time. My other friend works and she travels all over. She was like in Ohio, Chicago, LA, like just, and I'm like, I didn't even know people could get on planes. And they're like, no, they have flights. They're just, they social distance you. But then I had family who went to Florida for like a huge reunion. And then 3 or 4 people got COVID, you know, when they had that huge reunion for the holidays, which, you know, you weren't supposed to do, but people did anyway. I didn't go because I'm cautious because I have respiratory issues. So I'm not trying to catch nothing, even though I have my issues about this whole COVID thing. But they were there and then they got really, really sick. And I don't know if one of them died or not. I have to double check now. It was like my cousin's cousin, like my mom's best friend's family member, something like that. You know, like, you know, and you call your mom's best friend your aunt, you know what I mean? And then her kids are your cousins. So that's kind of like that scenario. So that's crazy. But then I don't think they got it from the family because the family all took COVID tests before they got there. I think they might have caught it from the plane or from the staff because the staff gets tested every so often, maybe once a week, but not every day. And then they come across a lot of people and they might be passing it along to people. So that's something to think about. So now my friends are like trying to get me to fly to Florida to, because my friend is opening a business out there and she's like, I need your help because I told her like I would help her decorate and plan everything, tell her what furniture to buy, and then I'll assemble and mount it because this is like what I do and it'll be like a whole package deal. You just got to fly me down and pay for my room and board and just pay me a little something. You know, I'll also help you and sit down with your family and teach you guys how to buy and sell stocks because I did pretty well with the market this year. I mean, I only invested a little bit of money because I didn't have a lot of money to invest, and also it's a gamble. So I'm only going to invest what I know that I can afford to lose. So I put like $1,000 in Bitcoin, and now it's at like 3,500. So I made like 3,500, 4,500. I can't because it's the phone. Oh, no, I don't know. I think it's at 4,000. So I made like $2,000 or $3,000 from just investing that $1,000. That's the profit that I made. And then I invested like 1,300 in stocks, or 1,100 in stocks, and then I made 1,300 on it, but it's still growing. And then I just got into cryptocurrencies, and look it up. It's Stellar something. I think the code is XLM-USD. So look up that stock. It's like, it was at 24 cents when I bought it. It's like at 30 cents now, but it's kind of like growing. It's one of those cryptocurrencies that start off really low, and then all of a sudden it goes to like $200-$300, and you're like, oh my God, I just made, you know? So I have, I don't know how much I invested in it, but I have like 600 shares, right? At like 24 cents. So you guys can do the math. What is that? 600, 300. I did not invest $150. I'll tell you that for sure. I invested maybe $100 in that one stock. A cryptocurrency, right? Because what happened was when my Bitcoin grew, I traded the Bitcoin that, you know, the profit of the Bitcoin into that currency, because I figured that was like gambling money, because I still have my base money that I put in there. So now I'm taking the winnings and I'm transferring it to buy these other little stocks to see how they work. Because if there is the potential to have that thing grow, what? You have no idea. Ethereum, something like Ethereum, I think is what it's called. So Bitcoin is the highest ranked one. Then Ethereum is below it. So I highly recommend, if you want to get into Bitcoin and you missed it when it was low, Ethereum is the next best one. Ethereum is growing at a quicker pace than Bitcoin grew, because Bitcoin was the precedent. It's the one that like opened the door for everybody. And then I was looking, because when you go to like different places where you can buy Bitcoin, they'll show you all of the stocks that you can trade with that they have. So like I heard that Civic was okay. That was at like 16 cents or 8 cents. I can't remember when I got it. And now it's at like 16 cents. But I only invested like $20 in it, I think, like $20 or $50, something ridiculous. But again, it ended up being like 500 shares or whatever. So it seems like a lot, but it's like you start off low. But think about it. If that 25 cent, 500 shares goes up to $30, right? It takes 4 shares to make $1, right? 4 times 30 is 120. So that's 120 times my initial, 120 times the 600 shares is what the cost would be. So if it goes up to, let's say I invested $100, right? And I have 600 shares and it goes up to $20. That's 20 times 600. That's a lot of fucking money. 600, that would be 1,200. That's $120,000, right? Am I right? Do the math, right? Because 600 times 2 is 1,200 times 10, because it's 20, is 120,000. So that $100 investment can turn into 120,000. That's crazy. Am I doing the math right? You guys double check me, like correct me if I'm wrong. Let's do this again. I have 600 shares that I bought at $25, more or less. It's like 500 something. So I know I spent like $100, because I remember I bought 50 and then I bought 50, right? So it's $100. It ends up being weird, because I bought 50 when it was at one price and 50 when it was at another. So like whatever, I'm averaging it out at 25 because that's the last price that I bought it at. But let's say I have 600 shares. It's like 580 or whatever, but 600, right? Let's say I spent $100 for that $600, for that 600 shares. If the price goes up to $20, each share is worth $20. 100 shares is $2,000, right? Times 6, $12,000. Not 120,000. Okay, thank you. So, but still, $100 investment that turns into 12,000. That's a pretty good investment. Thank you so much. I will take that. For sure. So most of these currencies are going to go past that. They're probably going to go up to $1,000, but you never know. Some of them start and then flop. So I heard Civic was good. I don't know if it is. Ethereum, something like that. That's good. Stellar I bought because it looked like it was good. It was one of the top 10. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I can invest $100. I'm not going to freaking cry. I already made it back with my Bitcoin. Don't really care. It was just to play with, right? And this is how they are. They're like, oh yeah, well, I'll buy 10,000 shares. My friend, he got in touch with me in July, and he said, yeah, I just bought 25,000 shares. Carnival, no. Norwegian Cruise Lines was at $15. I think about 10,000 shares. So about 10,000 shares at $15. So that's like 150,000. So he put like 150 plus 75. It's like, I think he invested like $225,000 into Norwegian Cruise Lines. And we knew that it was going to go back up to 25 at some point, and it is now. So he would have made a killing, but he was so nervous. He's like, if it keeps dropping, because it was dropping for a bit and then it went back up, he's like, I'm going to have to sell it all. I'm like, you're going to take a loss. It makes no sense to do that. Just hold on. You know it's going to go back up. And now it's up. So I'm hoping that he didn't sell that. I don't got money like that. He has money like that. He got money where he could be like, oh, I'm just going to buy 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000 shares of this stock that's like $100 each share. I'm like, I wish I could play Monopoly the way he plays Monopoly. But when you have that much money, you can do whatever you want, right? His portfolio is over $1 million, and that's just what he has invested in stocks. So I can't even touch that. My portfolio is like $5,000. Seriously. Not even touching that at all, you know? So I figured, how can I fast forward? How can I make up for all the lost time that I partied way too hard, right? How can I make up for all the time that I wasn't in a relationship and I was single, where, you know, because when you're in a relationship, you're building a future and you're supposed to get married, have kids. I didn't do that. I was single most of my adult life. I traveled the world. I tried different careers. I tried food. I lived my life. I enjoyed it. I wasn't very like crazy with the sex and the boys and stuff like that, because I knew there was more to life than that. And I figured, okay, well, at some point I'm going to end up with somebody. So whoever I end up with, then I can experiment and do all this stuff with them. You know what I mean? Like I have time, you know, but now I'm 41, so I don't have that much time. But I was looking at it like I want to experience life, because the one thing I see with my friends that got married early is they never really traveled. Some of them did, the wealthy ones, you know, but they never really traveled. They never got to pursue their dreams. They never got to see what they were capable of because they were too busy raising their family and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think that is a beautiful thing. I crave that now. Now I kind of almost, not really, but almost regret not having gotten married younger and taken that route, because it looks like such a beautiful, rewarding route. And now they can go and do everything that I already did. But my theory was I want to do everything that I did while my body still works. And I'm happy because now I have knee issues, ankle issues, back, you know. I wouldn't have been able to do all the stuff that I did, you know. So I don't regret my choices, but I kind of wish I had spent a little bit more time investing in certain relationships. So that's interesting. Just wanted to like throw that out there in case you guys are going through this conundrum in your head, you know, like I've been to 27 countries. That alone is just worth being single, you know. Like, and I want to hit 75 with this documentary that I'm doing, the Indigenous documentary. Look it up, theindigenousdocumentary.com. I'm looking for donations. I'm going to start my first interview at some point this year. I already have like the connections with certain people, and I'm like setting up interview dates and whatnot. So it's in the works, but it's like slow. I'm taking my time with it because I have other things I need to worry about right now. And it's not yielding anything, like I'm paying out of pocket. So we were talking about stocks. So now I'm thinking, how can I make up for this lost time? I need to be, I want my portfolio to be like someone who worked corporate America, rang up the ladder, and has like $1.5 million saved or more in their portfolio. You know what I mean? Not to mention they own a property and this. So what is the quickest way for me to catch up? Because I'm not a really good YouTuber. And I don't see it, but most people say you don't really make money on YouTube. You just use YouTube as a platform to make the money, right? To like get the clients, and then you bring them to like someplace else. But I don't have that someplace else yet. I was doing these inspiration boxes, which I'll make another video about, but there's nothing really like in the works right now other than the book that I'm publishing. And so I figured like, how can I catch up? And I thought the only thing that I can do, because let's say I did get pregnant and I had a kid, I don't want to work at all. I'm already 41. I'm overweight. So I'm a geriatric pregnancy that's overweight. I'm very high risk. I cannot work, you know, and be stressed out and stuff like that while I'm pregnant if I want to keep this baby. Because I already had a miscarriage, right? Because of the stress. And because my ex was like, you know, I wasn't working, and he was like, you should go back to work. You know, most women in the first trimester should act like normal. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm 41 and I'm overweight. And he's like, yeah, but you should still go back to work. And then I had a miscarriage. So I'm not going to work at all. So I figured, how am I going to make this money? How am I going to get ahead and catch up when I'm so far behind? And I thought cryptocurrency. If you can make millions of dollars, like right now, Bitcoin is at 40 something thousand. And part of me is like, sell now before it drops, you know, but everybody expected it to stop at 22, I think they said. They said, oh, we think it's going to cap out at either 22 or 32. I can't remember the articles that I was reading. And so it went past that. And I was like, I figured I was going to wait for my gut, my intuition to tell me when to sell. Because even if I sold at 22, I'd still be making a profit. You know, if I sold at 32, I'd be making a great profit. If I sold now, I'd be making a good profit. But I know that there's potential for more. So I kind of want to hold off. Now, I told you about Stellar something. I don't know what it's called. It's called XLM-USD. I told you about Civic. There were two other ones that I bought that I could not get the code for because I do watch it. I do watch the US stocks. Those are the ones that are traded on the US stock market, I guess, because it has the USD. So you can, it's one of those things. It's traded on, I don't know if it's the NASDAQ or the other one. But you can kind of follow it on your ticker thing from, what's that thing called? Stocks on the Apple phone, on the iPhone. It's called stocks. You can add those and watch them as they grow. But I try not to do that because it's like watching a plant grow. It's painful. And then you get like all nervous and crazy. And so I just try to like look at it like once a month. So I bought two other cryptocurrencies. Again, I only spent like, I think $20 or $50 on each one. I'm not going crazy, but if I can make even $1,000 on that $20 investment, I'm patting myself on the back, and then I'm going to give myself more confidence and trust myself to invest more, which would be the profit, that $1,000 into the next one. So I'm basically using my money to keep growing my money, if that makes any sense. So all the stuff that I've invested, I'm considering it just like a gamble. Like I'm hoping and praying that in the end I end up winning. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. There was another one that everybody keeps talking about called Travala. But the thing is that most places where you can buy Bitcoin, you can't get Travala. So what happens is you have to get Bitcoin, right? Then you have to put it in a wallet, and then you have to go and find a place that sells Travala, which the code is AVA in the Bitcoin world, or in the cryptocurrency world, and then you have to buy that. Now that stock was only like at 2 cents in August of 2020, and now I think it's at like 25 or 30 cents or more. So anybody who invested $1,000 in there is chilling right now, because 2 cents and it's up to like 25 cents. That's 10 times your money. You made 10 grand, right? For every $1,000 that you invested. So there are some YouTubers that I do watch. He was one that recommended it. I'll see if I could put his link down there. I don't know if I'll see if I can put his link down there. But he's the one that talked about Travala, and now it's growing like crazy. And basically Travala is just a currency exchange where you can buy Bitcoin and then buy other cryptocurrencies. So I got to check that out. Maybe I could just go to Travala and start an account. I don't know. But not everybody lets you buy Travala. You know, so they have like these exchange places like Coinbase, Travala, Crunch or something like that. You can even buy Bitcoin on Cash App, I heard. I don't know about Robinhood. I don't think you could get it on E-Trade. I don't know. But you guys can do your own research. But basically, you need the Bitcoin, put it in a wallet, transfer it to another account where you can then buy the Travala. So it's like there's a lot of cryptocurrencies where you can make a lot of money on, but they're not all literally connected. Like, yeah, you may have Bitcoin in 6 different accounts, but none of them allow you to buy that one cryptocurrency that you want. You have to go into another account, open that account, transfer the money into that account to buy that specific cryptocurrency. What? But you know what? Who has time to do that? People who don't work all day. They have time to do that. And people who work all day can do it either on their break, while they're working, or after work. It's just too much. So I'm going to try and learn how to get into this cryptocurrency thing before it's too late. Then the crazy thing is banks are telling you, oh, cryptocurrencies aren't good. But then they went on the DL. I made another video about this. And then they went and they, sorry, there's something in my eye. Then they went and they got, oh my God. Sorry, domain names. With cryptocurrency, like Chase cryptocurrency. I'm not saying that's what it is, but like Chase, I'm just giving you an example. Like they went and they got cryptocurrencies, like Chase cryptocurrency or Wells Fargo cryptocurrency.com, you know, so that when they actually came out with their cryptocurrency, like nobody else would be able to steal it or create like a false website. So they got all these different domains that have Bitcoin or crypto coin or whatever terms that they are. So clearly the banks are getting involved in this, right? So the banks are going to come out with their own cryptocurrency, but they're not going to offer it to the public. You know who they're going to offer it to? Their high profile clients. Hey, you guys have a chance to invest in this fund that has to do with the cryptocurrency. So then they get first dibs. They get it at low prices. As they're investing, the price increases. Then they offer it to the public, right? When the prices are high, these people have already made a profit before it even came to the public. Then you guys start investing. Your money raises the price of the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, which then gives them more money. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get in early wherever I can. I'm going to grow my money, and then I'm going to learn about these funds, and I'm going to use that money to pay for the for entry into these funds. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just throwing out what I know. I don't know everything, and I would love any feedback that you guys have on anything that I'm saying right now, because I have no idea how it's going to work with the banks, but I'm really freaking curious. Like, I'm really curious because I want to get in early because I know that's the only way you ever make money. You know, like I bought one stock of Pfizer and one stock of Moderna because that's all that I can afford. I am not a baller. I am a regular person who just chooses to invest my money as opposed to spending it, especially since we're in a pandemic, so I can't go out and go crazy. You know what I mean? So I have this extra money that I normally would have spent going out with friends or family, and, you know, and I'm like, I'm going to invest in myself because I need to catch up with inflation. I also need to catch up to my friends who actually did something with their lives. And, you know, like, I'm a really cool, interesting person. I have great conversation because I've done such amazing things. But I didn't have like a real career that I just focused on. I had multiple careers, which make me fascinating. So I'm going to write a book because maybe people will find it fascinating. Because everybody's like, what do you do? And I tell them the 7,000 things that I do. And they're like, how do you find time to do all of that? And I'm like, well, all I've ever had was time because I've never been in a relationship because I've been forever single as an adult. So I had more time than most people who are in a relationship because relationships take a lot of time out of your life, especially if you have a family. Not that there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I want the family now. I want the relationship. I want all of that now. But we'll see what divine timing God has for me. So kudos to you if you have a family. Kudos to you if you've been in a relationship and you're solid. I praise you for being able to maintain that because it's not easy making it work and having it, you know, last this long. So God bless you guys. Congratulations. Whatever sacrifices you made in the past, whether you deem it a sacrifice or not, you will get paid for now. Hopefully any of the stuff that I've taught you, if you're like me and you're like, I feel like I'm far behind, maybe some of these things will help you now to kind of like get forward, or for you to do your own research so that you can get into the cryptocurrencies, so you can possibly do the slingshot thing and propel yourself forward. Because if these little people, these little new bugs, like the millennials, can go and make like $16 million in a year off of Instagram and YouTube, there's no reason that we can't catch up too. Right? There has to be a way. There's no way that the universe is going to have this huge imbalance. So I'm just trying to catch up, and I'm just trying to share that with you guys. So I'm going to go now because it's 42 minutes and 53 seconds, and that's just way too long for a video. Bye.